Hello, High Point. It's good to be here once again, though we certainly miss seeing you. And we're sorry that our live stream wasn't working correctly this last week. Our men are working to get that sorted out. But in the meantime, I thought it'd be helpful at least to maybe give you some context, some frame of thinking, maybe what we're going to address in that message, and some thoughts that you can possibly be chewing on for the week. You know, fear is all around us right now. People are responding in all kinds of different ways, and it's easy for us, even as believers, to get all caught up in that, to be swept away with what the world is telling us about the coronavirus and what we need to do and what we shouldn't be doing and all those kinds of things. And our focus on eternal things can become a little bit muddied, maybe would be the best way to put it. But we want to remind you why we're so encouraged here at High Point, because what we believe that the Lord is going to be doing during these circumstances. And of course, Christ promised, we mentioned this last time, that He is building His church. But two ways He's doing that is, first, obviously, by bringing souls to salvation, and secondly, by sanctifying His people. And it's on that thought that I want to direct our attention for just a moment. How is God sanctifying His people during this time? How can we be encouraged by what God is doing? Well, one primary way that God is sanctifying His people is by increasing our dependence on Him. It is the very opposite of what it is to be in fear. And we remember what Paul said in Philippians chapter 4, verse 4. He says, "Rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say rejoice." What a profound statement. I mean, he says it twice. And if you know the context of Philippians, and you know that Paul is already in prison. And if there was anyone who had a reason to be afraid at that point, it would have been the Apostle Paul. But instead, he places his trust and his confidence in the Lord, and even tells the Philippians, don't be discouraged, because my circumstances have given me the opportunity to share the gospel with the entire Praetorian Guard. That's amazing. The Praetorian Guard, that was a tough group of individuals. They were like the Navy SEALs of the ancient Roman Empire. And Paul is now able to share the gospel. He saw the sovereign hand of God in that. But you know, when we fear, our circumstances can become a consuming thought in our minds. And fear itself becomes a very crippling enemy. It controls our thoughts. It controls what we do. And it is in fact a form of unbelief in the sovereign purposes of God. And if God isn't sovereign, then who is? We have to control our circumstances. All of a sudden, we are in control of our environment. And because of that, our attention is no longer on eternal things and on the hope that we have in Jesus Christ, but now on our present circumstances. And it's our present circumstances that we become obsessed with changing. We've got to change the circumstances to get rid of the fear. In reality, we can't change the circumstances, but maybe we pore over every single detail, every single new diagnosis of the coronavirus. We're watching the markets. We're seeing our savings maybe be depleted because we're out of work, or whatever the case is. We can't change any of those things. And it actually puts our souls in a position of danger. Because 2 Peter 2:14 tells us that the enemy uses false teachers to prey on those whose souls are despairing, those souls that are unstable. And certainly a fearful soul is an unstable soul. And those false teachers prey on us like a wolf preys on the sick and the weak in a flock. And so Paul says, when you fear, when you suffer, rejoice always, because we are preeminently concerned with the work that God is doing. And there's a promise that comes along with that in verse 8. The peace of God, which surpasses all comprehension, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Take care, God bless, and remember, whatever you do, do all for the glory of God.